Hi, it's Ileana. So today I'm going to cover a bit of information on the last UAP hearing that Congress held on November the 13th, 2024. They had Tim Gallaudet, Luis Elizondo, Michael Schellenberger, and Michael Gold as the four witnesses, and they covered information on asking questions about UAP crashes and if there are programs that actually recover UAPs, UFO crafts, and if there's biological bodies, materials, and they asked if Elizondo was involved in any of those programs. He said, yes, there are such programs, recoveries have been made, but I can't talk about it. He's not authorized because he signed non-disclosure agreements, and the others wouldn't talk about it much. What I found interesting is that Miss Baubart, one of the congressional hearing people who was asking questions, she asked the whole panel of four witnesses, are they aware of any crash site retrieval materials from crafts that are being used in bioscience, biological projects? And Tim Gallaudet said he's not aware of that. Luis Elizondo said he cannot talk about that. Schellenberger said he doesn't know. Gold said he doesn't know if any such materials or biologics are used in bioscience, programs of non-human biological material being used in bioscience from these crash site retrievals or reverse engineered crafts, technology, bodies, non-human entities. So that's what she started off with. But then she asked an interesting question as a follow-up. There are rumors that have come up to the Hill of a secretive project within the Department of Defense involving the manipulation of human genetics with what is described as non-human genetic material being used potentially for the enhancement of human capabilities as hybrids. And all four witnesses said they're not aware of such program, that they don't know about it. But such program does exist. It exists in the Black Operations Group that I had remote viewed last year. They have a cloning center in a remote region of Antarctica near McMurdo Station. It's an underground cloning facility where they have actually shot down exotic crafts of non-human origin and collected bodies, putting them in biostasis pods to keep them alive and transport them to research facilities and that cloning center for study, extracting genetic material from those bodies and grafting it onto human soldiers to enhance human biological capabilities for strength, for psionic abilities, for intelligence and other things. And then this Black Operations Group has kept live non-human extraterrestrials as captives, collecting their genetic material to further enhance human soldiers as part of research projects, keeping live beings that have been captured from a craft that was downed in Antarctica. Aquatic-like beings that can easily self-regenerate their blood, their cells, and extend life expectancy using their genetic material, what was extracted. So such a program does exist. And I had remote viewed it last year, and it's in my book. I included it with the Lockheed Martin reverse engineering program, but I also included the Black Operations Group because I had stumbled on one of their crafts, the mysterious craft that was picked up by the satellite, going around the world in a minute and a half. That was one of their crafts. But they're doing much more. They have a cloning center. They are using regenerative technology to 3D print organs, clone organs, harvest organs, and rebuild organs, limbs, missing limbs, body parts. They have the equivalent of holographic medical pods in these underground black site facilities and research bases. And cloning center. They might have more than one cloning center. This is something that Michael Herrera had alluded to briefly. And I had remote viewed that. So the fact that such rumors are now reaching the Hill and members of Congress have been told about such rumors, that rumor is true because that program exists. The fact that it's within the Defense Department that has such a program, it's even more than what the Black Ops Group has. It's more than one program, and it's connected to cloning centers, and genetic material can easily be collected from exotic extraterrestrials and grafted onto humans, soldiers, in experimental programs to make hybrids, even transform human soldiers into actual extraterrestrial hybrids. It can easily be done, and it's been done for like 50 years. It's not a new program. It's connected to Black Ops stuff quite a bit. So that is real. And I got to see it in the remote viewing, and it's in my book. So the fact that this came up in a UAP hearing, public Congress UAP hearing, somebody's feeding Congress members this information. But even these witnesses don't know about such programs, or if they do, they can't talk about it because it's quite classified. But there are these types of experiments being done, collecting non-human DNA from extraterrestrials that have been captured by the Black Ops groups, and then grafting it onto human soldiers to bioenhance them in bioscience programs. In fact, making them hybrids. That's a real fact, and I've seen it. So it's not a rumor, it's a reality. It's just a deeply buried one. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that interesting portion of what I thought was the most important part of the hearing for what was said in public, because that exists, and it's a big, big thing. And to hear that come up was interesting as a question. So I can say, yeah, that exists, and it's been happening for 50 years. I'm sure Michael Herrera knows about it. Stephen Greer certainly knows about it for sure, because he actually went to one of these medical facilities where they do have holographic medical pods on the border of Mexico, between the US and Mexico, in an underground facility, and he said as much. So this technology does exist, and it's being used and utilized. And there's cloning centers. Black Ops Group, the one that targeted me and went after me for disclosing a lot about them, they do have this tech. That's real. That's not a rumor. So other non-human species, extraterrestrial genetics, can be extracted with dermal tools, and it could be then grafted and transferred into human bodies to actually create ET hybrids temporarily or permanently with the abilities of those extraterrestrials, non-human beings. And this type of technology exists, and it has for a while. It's not that hard to do, actually, to create human extraterrestrial hybrids with other species DNA. You just extract from one species and insert into another. Many extraterrestrial species are biocompatible with humans and human DNA to mix and splice it to enhance abilities or create new abilities between the different species. It's not that hard to do. So the fact that that came up in Congress as a rumor, that's not a rumor. That's actually a real program, and it's being done. That's what's called harvesting DNA for genetic modification, manipulation, and bioengineering augmentation from one species that is exotic onto human species to create hybrids. So it's a harvesting program, and it's a real thing. These types of projects are being done in underground facilities, the bioengineering from non-human DNA extraction, putting it into humans from the harvesting of that exotic extraterrestrial material and grafting it onto the humans into human bodily functions, injecting that. It's done in secret underground facilities, black site facilities, military research facilities, biomedical facilities. It's all done underground. It's not on the surface level where you can easily find that stuff. It's top secret, it's underground, it's all underground facilities. It's not surface level. That's why it's sounding like rumors, but it's not. These facilities exist and this stuff is being done currently. It's quite an industry to enhance humans and make humans hybrids from extraterrestrial genetics, or build new species of hybrids, human extraterrestrial hybrids from DNA from scratch. It can be done by combining extraterrestrial DNA with human DNA, absolutely. These types of programs would fall under the class of genetic modification programs and bioscience, bioengineering programs of exotic extraterrestrial DNA harvesting, then modifying the human DNA and physically grafting that harvested ET DNA from the exotic aquatic type beings that are bipedal, then harvesting their DNA onto the humans to experiment on humans to create super soldiers or just more advanced versions of human species. That's where the categories are. Genetic bioengineering modification programs and bioengineering bioscience. That is what is being done. And again, Congress hearing about that, that's very interesting. It's not your typical question, but it's a real question, and it's good that it was asked publicly in the hearing, because that's a secret reality that is going on underneath our feet in secret military facilities run by Black Ops groups and Department of Defense, apparently. The cloning facility not too far from McMurdo, the underground cloning facility run by the Black Ops group, the one that Michael Herrera was disclosed to about that, and Stephen Greer. Those operations, they had very exotic extraterrestrials captured in that cloning facility in an aquatic environment. Bipedal ETs that are octopus-like but larger, and they are sentient and very telepathic, highly intelligent. Their DNA, their genetics, can make people stronger, faster, extend life extension, like literally allow people to live longer, regenerate limbs, regenerate body parts, and just give you longer life longevity. That's what their DNA does. Creates more strength, more muscle tone, more longevity, allows to regenerate body parts because they're octopus-like extraterrestrials from whom this DNA was extracted to graft onto human soldiers to experiment on to see what would happen. in that particular cloning facility in Antarctica. That's the experiments that I saw through remote viewing that was being done last year. And that is the bioengineering, bioscience hybrid project that I know of from that facility, that came out of that facility in particular. Thank you so much.